Last week, Google released their AI technology, which is called Bard. Now, they started to open up access to Bard, so some of you may have even gotten a chance to play around with it, but the initial reviews was filled with skepticism. Microsoft, or rather OpenAI's ChatGPT models, which we've even made a video about testing its capabilities in the realms of finance, far superseded Bard, at least in first impressions. Now, so far, we haven't really seen that affect the stock Google in the way we would have expected. However, today, Monday morning essentially, we started to see selling take place inside of Google. If we take a look at the news to make sure there's nothing else really that happened inside of Google that might lead to the sell-off, we don't see anything here that really stands out. To me, this was really just an air of folks saying that, hey, I don't really think that Google is positioned well, at least so far, for this AI war, and they started to take money out of Google. If we contrast this with, say, Microsoft here, right off the bat, this should stand out in that Microsoft didn't even hit the lower end of our volatility box clouds, much less even the target line. We stayed well inside of this zone here. Google, on the other hand, very clearly had a good deal of selling to the point where we even hit our lower volatility box zones. We had the edge signal, we had a momentum cross, and really at this point near that 102 price point inside of Google, you can see that right here, folks decided that, hey, this is still too good of a deal on Google. This selling is a little bit too much. This is a good opportunity to buy and get a better deal on a price inside of Google. So I think there's a few notes of optimism here. One, that we didn't break outside of the clouds, but instead very clearly saw this level being defended. That told us our volatility box models are being respected, and folks still recognize, I think, the level of tech that Google has behind it. Very clearly still positioned as the #1 search engine. It's a verb. I think it has some solid tech that, in the grand scheme of things, once they get a chance to catch up, will eventually be a good rival to Microsoft and OpenAI's ChatGPT. Now, if we again come back to Microsoft, this should stand out here where you don't see that same level of skepticism coming into play. Now, one other stock outside of Google, so Google was here, which hit our stock volatility box live scanner, and that was the long side setup we saw. There was one stock, however, which stood out because it gave us a short side setup and also in the tech sphere, IBM. So if I come into IBM here, we can see a stark contrast compared to what we saw in Google. IBM, for much of the day, nice strong rally. We hit the upper edge of our volatility box zones. We have a setup that we recognize with these Keltner channel wedges. We see the red arrow, the edge signal hidden behind this bubble, which tells us that, hey, we're now officially in overbought territory. And with this dot right here, we know that now even that shorter term momentum with the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA are switching to the downside. So the three stocks we've discussed so far, just to recap here, Google, we saw a good deal of selling activity to the point where we hit our lower volatility box, and we saw buyers come in and pick up from that level. So a nice opportunity there for a long side setup. IBM, we saw a nice rally for much of the day, and if I show you the NASDAQ in the top right-hand corner here had a sell-off for much of the day with a rally in the second half. So IBM here very clearly standing out compared to some of the other tech stocks. And if we finally contrast this with Microsoft, we still saw selling activity, but I have to shrink this y-axis to even show you the volatility box clouds, which speaks to just how little selling there was inside of Microsoft compared to Google. So hopefully between these three stocks, you get an example in Google of a long side setup where we're very clearly starting to see money coming outside of Google. In Microsoft, we saw money come out, but not anywhere close to the same extent as we saw inside of Google. And in IBM, we saw money entering to the extent that we had the reverse setup, a short side setup, compared to what we saw inside of Google. So 3 different tech stocks, but 3 different stories across the board, and each one has their hand in AI in one way, shape, or form. IBM with Watson, Microsoft with ChatGPT, and Google now with Bard, and hopefully what will come as their new release of AI tools that improves upon that. For those of you looking to trade these tech stocks, and especially the ones in the AI ecosphere, I hope you found this video useful. For all of our stock volatility box members, you can go through the other stocks that also triggered on our models, both the daily, which had a relatively small list today. We had the likes of AMD as another tech stock. Dick's Sporting Goods was a real nice opportunity today as well. And then we had some smaller stocks like Zillow, etc. On the hourly tab, if I come in, you'll find way more opportunities, which you can scroll through based off of whichever stocks you're looking at. And these give you smaller trades. And there you can see the likes of, say, Oracle, Goldman Sachs, etc. So a variety of different stocks there. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in the next update.